The Bug Crowd platform is the fastest way to access diverse security skills that continuously add value to your organization. First, we'll connect you with solutions that add the most value, like bug bounty, penetration testing, attack surface management, and vulnerability disclosure programs. When you're ready, we'll begin plugging your team into our on-demand cybersecurity workforce. Don't worry, our trust and triage engine will always vet expertise and validate reports, saving you valuable time. With standardized workflows repeatable as you scale, your team can hit the ground running. The platform will help build incentivization frameworks that optimize submissions, while also calibrating and retesting to deliver resilient security outcomes, all while managing the expertise needed for end-to-end execution. Finally, the customer console keeps you in the driver's seat, providing you everything you need to be successful, empowering you to fix faster with integrations that roll directly into your SDLC. The Bug Crowd platform is the fastest way to access diverse security skills that continuously add value to your organization. First, we'll connect you with solutions that add the most value, like bug bounty, penetration testing, attack surface management, and vulnerability disclosure programs. When you're ready, we'll begin plugging your team into our on-demand cybersecurity workforce. Don't worry, our trust and triage engine will always vet expertise and validate reports, saving you valuable time. With standardized workflows repeatable as you scale, your team can hit the ground running. The platform will help build incentivization frameworks that optimize submissions, while also calibrating and retesting to deliver resilient security outcomes, all while managing the expertise needed for end-to-end execution. Finally, the customer console keeps you in the driver's seat, providing you everything you need to be successful, empowering you to fix faster with integrations that roll directly into your SDLC. The Bug Crowd platform is the fastest way to access diverse security skills that continuously add value to your organization. First, we'll connect you with solutions that add the most value, like bug bounty, penetration testing, attack surface management, and vulnerability disclosure programs. When you're ready, we'll begin plugging your team into our on-demand cybersecurity workforce. Don't worry, our trust and triage engine will always vet expertise and validate reports, saving you valuable time. With standardized workflows repeatable as you scale, your team can hit the ground running. The platform will help build incentivization frameworks that optimize submissions, while also calibrating and retesting to deliver resilient security outcomes, all while managing the expertise needed for end-to-end execution. Finally, the customer console keeps you in the driver's seat, providing you everything you need to be successful, empowering you to fix faster with integrations that roll directly into your SDLC.
Good afternoon to all dignitaries, guests, and delegates with great joy and immense exultation. I, Ananya, with my co-host Divyansh, feel privileged to extend a warm welcome to all present here for the inauguration of Damncon 2021, powered by Damn Secure Pentesting Hub, supported by Panel Time, Nulltrace, and Indian School of Ethical Hacking, sponsored by Bugcrowd and Hack the Box, co-sponsored by Give My Certificate, 1Password, Burp Bounty, and Recon Shell.
Damn Secure Pentesting Hub, or DSPH, was established in 2021 to ensure training for cybersecurity and digital security as we move to the digital era. Our goal is to provide the best graded training in cybersecurity. Within a year of its inception, DSPH has identified more than 250 breach points and more than 150 malware. So, without further ado, let's introduce everyone to Damncon.
Damncon, the cyber conference, will provide you with meaningful insights and the right knowledge for you to move on to the next step. This cyber event, like no other, is the way to catch up with the new age cyber threats and securities, or simply all of the cyber world. With the right guidance of our experienced team, you will soon be a budding cybersecurity expert.
Over the course of the next few days, you'll be introduced to various concepts in cybersecurity by our experts, and the most awaited, Damcon CTF towards the end.
The Bugcrowd platform is the fastest way to access diverse security skills that continuously add value to your organization. First, we'll connect you with solutions that add the most value, like bug bounty, penetration testing, attack surface management, and vulnerability disclosure programs. When you're ready, we'll begin plugging your team into our on-demand cybersecurity workforce. Don't worry, our trust and triage engine will always vet expertise and validate reports, saving you valuable time. With standardized workflows repeatable as you scale, your team can hit the ground running. The platform will help build incentivization frameworks that optimize submissions while also calibrating and retesting to deliver resilient security outcomes, all while managing the expertise needed for end-to-end execution. Finally, the customer console keeps you in the driver's seat, providing you everything you need to be successful, empowering you to fix faster with integrations that roll directly into your SDLC. The Bug Crowd platform is the fastest way to access diverse security skills that continuously add value to your organization. First, we'll connect you with solutions that add the most value, like bug bounty, penetration testing, attack surface management, and vulnerability disclosure programs. When you're ready, we'll begin plugging your team into our on-demand cybersecurity workforce. Don't worry, our trust and triage engine will always vet expertise and validate reports, saving you valuable time. With standardized workflows repeatable as you scale, your team can hit the ground running. The platform will help build incentivization frameworks that optimize submissions, while also calibrating and retesting to deliver resilient security outcomes, all while managing the expertise needed for end-to-end execution. Finally, the customer console keeps you in the driver's seat, providing you everything you need to be successful, empowering you to fix faster.
Next up, we have Mr. Simon Nath, founder of DSPH, that is Damn Secure Pentesting Hub, to tell you all about the CTF details and prices.
It's a very pleasant moment we have in the chat box. We have in the chat box that people are asking what are the CTF gifts and all. So let me just tell you about some of the CTF gifts. First, the team who will be there, he will be getting cash award of $200 from Buckout, as well as he will be getting a sponsorship or a subscription from HTB the 6 month. Then he will be getting certifications and other sponsorship also. Secondly, he will be the second team who is the second run app team. He will be getting a prize of $100 and as well as subscriptions of HTB for 4 months, and he will be getting certification as usual. Last but not the least, the third team, he will be getting a cash reward of $50, and then he will be getting subscriptions in HTB of 1 month and other subscriptions of Null Trace, Red Active Directory trainings, IOSH, Indian School of Ethical Hacking courses, trainings, and all. Uh, so, guys, I hope you will be enjoying this event a lot. What are you thinking about this event? Just you can have a comment discussion in the chat. We will be having it up. I don't like it's a thing that people are more exciting for this event. What are you thinking? Are you excited for this event? Nice, sir, meeting. Yeah, thanks for that. Are you excited for the event? Yes. Okay, that's great. I hope you will getting something very good, very learning excited things. Like one thing which we need to tell you, you can see like we displayed a thing in the below of the where it is coming the sponsors detail where the flag is coming also time DSPH CTF. So it's a thing you will be totally blessed out. You will be thinking something that yes, this will be the thing you need to go up, you need to find something, and then only you will get something like that. Okay, you didn't get the flag. Oh my god, that thing was totally waste. Now you need to think in another way and you need to get a flag from that. This is a CTF things. So guys who haven't registered for CTF yet, it's time to go and register for the CTF. The CTF registration are still open with exciting prizes for your team. And before that, let me tell you some rules and regulation of the teams. The first thing, for claiming the prize, your team needs to have 3 members minimum and a maximum of 4 members. Secondly, you can be like doing a DDoS attack or something like that. Thirdly, whoever the team wins the first prize or something like that, he or she needs to maintain a write up thing, which we will be asking for you, so that we can verify that you have solved the challenge or you got a flag from outside. Henceforth, a very well wishes from Team DSPH for this, all of you who are participating in this event.
The Bug Crowd platform is the fastest way to access diverse security skills that continuously add value to your organization. First, we'll connect you with solutions that add the most value, like bug bounty, penetration testing, attack surface management, and vulnerability disclosure programs. When you're ready, we'll begin plugging your team into our on-demand cybersecurity workforce. Don't worry, our trust and triage engine will always vet expertise and validate reports, saving you valuable time. With standardized workflows repeatable as you scale, your team can hit the ground running. The platform will help build incentivization frameworks that optimize submissions, while also calibrating and retesting to deliver resilient security outcomes, all while managing the expertise needed for end-to-end execution. Finally, the customer console keeps you in the driver's seat, providing you everything you need to be successful, empowering you to fix faster with integrations that roll directly into your SDLC. The Bug Crowd platform is the fastest way to access diverse security skills that continuously add value to your organization. First, we'll connect you with solutions that add the most value, like bug bounty, penetration testing, attack surface management, and vulnerability disclosure programs. When you're ready, we'll begin plugging your team into our on-demand cybersecurity workforce. Don't worry, our trust and triage engine will always vet expertise and validate reports, saving you valuable time. With standardized workflows repeatable as you scale, your team can hit the ground running. The platform will help build incentivization frameworks that optimize submissions, while also calibrating and retesting to deliver resilient security outcomes, all while managing the expertise needed for end-to-end execution. Finally, the customer console keeps you in the driver's seat, providing you everything you need to be successful, empowering you to fix faster with integrations that roll directly into your SDLC. The Bug Crowd platform is the fastest way to access diverse security skills that continuously add value to your organization. First, we'll connect you with solutions that add the most value, like bug bounty, penetration testing, attack surface management, and vulnerability disclosure programs. When you're ready, we'll begin plugging your team into our on-demand cybersecurity workforce. Don't worry, our trust and triage engine will always vet expertise and validate reports, saving you valuable time. With standardized workflows repeatable as you scale, your team can hit the ground running. The platform will help build incentivization frameworks that optimize submissions, while also calibrating and retesting to deliver resilient security outcomes, all while managing the expertise needed for end-to-end execution. Finally, the customer console keeps you in the driver's seat, providing you everything you need to be successful, empowering you to fix faster with integrations that roll directly into your SDLC.
We will begin today's event with our chief guest, Mr. Amit Dubey, addressing the gathering. Mr. Amit is a renowned national security expert and a crime investigator on cyber forensics and ethical hacking to various Indian investigation agencies. He has been invited by Indian Parliament to consult standings on cybersecurity issues. CNN-IBN featured him as a national security expert and covered a few of his cases in a documentary called Cyber Warfare in India in 2012. Sir, we welcome you to Damncon 2021 and we humbly request you to take over the stage and address the gathering.
Good evening, everybody. Am I visible and audible? So, first of all, thank you so much for having me here, for providing this opportunity to be part of this wonderful event. And I'm sure many new age ethical hackers, enthusiasts, cybersecurity experts, researchers are part of this. And before I start sharing some of my experiences in this domain, I would like to share some of the government initiatives in this direction. You would have heard about Honorable Prime Minister's Day for Yesterday speech, where he has invited democratic countries to come together to launch a cryptocurrency. And that itself shows that we are now eyeing up a new coin, Indian coin, in crypto domain. We have also taken initiatives which to strengthen the overall security posture of India. In that direction, Government of India is about to launch its data privacy policy, and in this parliament session, which will be starting on 29th of November, this bill will be discussed. The PDP bill and the Data Protection Act 2021 will have all those provisions, guidelines, regulations that will strengthen our data privacy ecosystem. It will not only make the IT companies more responsible for our data, but it will also force them to hire to enable their entire IT systems with more security provisions. There are clear-cut expectations to have data protection officers, security analysts, data privacy expert in every company, which means uh, a huge demand of cyber experts and cybersecurity professionals in this domain. And we are expecting close to 1 million resource requirement after this bill in India. It's a great news for all cybersecurity enthusiasts. Other than that, the government of India have also in the process of launching their cybersecurity strategy, and the strategy will also have the similar kind of regulations, guidelines, recommendations uh, in this sector. As far as my journey in this sector is concerned, I started in 2002, 2001 or 2, when I passed out from IIT Kharagpur. And there I used to do the small phishing operations or social engineering based attacks. At that time, not many companies were relying on multi-factor authentications, or these were the things, those are not in practice. It was easy to hack passwords, it was easy to hack servers. But in due course of time, in last 20 years, this entire scenario have changed. Then 2008, 26/11 happened. The, the well-known Mumbai attack. And then after that, Indian government realized that they need a dedicated entity for such kind of terrorist attacks investigations. They started an entity called NIA, National Investigation Agency. And I was approached by then IG, Inspector General of NIA, Mr. Loknath Behra, who was DGP Kerala Police recently. So he called me he wanted to engage few hackers in their operations. Why I'm telling you this story? Because the story is not only about me. The story is actually about the changing paradigm of cybersecurity ecosystem of India. I'm not alone in this journey. There are many, many people, those are like me, and they have been engaged with police and investigation agencies, law enforcement department in due course of time to help police, to government, to strengthen their ecosystem, to do counter surveillance attacks, or to investigate crime cases. I am one of them. I have my own journey, and if I would be able to inspire some of you to join my hands in this journey, I'll be more than happy. So that's why I'm sharing my personal journey here, and then I'll expect some of you to approach me, and then I'll help you to make you a part of this entire task force. I'm part of the cybersecurity committee of UP government. I was supposed to give them the cybersecurity strategy in due course of time, along with two IIT professors, Professor Triveni Singh, SP Cybercrime UP, and IT Secretary of UP. So all these entities, I'm also an advisor to Honorable Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh. So the engagement that I have with governments, various government sectors, whether the law enforcement agencies or the political system, everywhere I see a acute demand of cyber experts. And they all keep asking me. Yesterday only I got a call from CBI officer that they need some consultant, cyber experts, data analytics, analyst. So I think this is the right time. You guys are in the right direction, have chosen the right domain. And if you have interest in this domain, you can scale it to any extent. And you should know the opportunities as well. So I was trying to tell you my journey, and when I was engaged by Mr. Loknath Behra in 2009, and I start helping them in data analytics and investigating such cases and doing some offensive techniques as well. With this initial success traction, he started recommending me to various other organizations, whether it is CBI or all other law enforcement agencies, BPRND, Netgrid, and NIE, etc. But the journey was awesome. Whatever I was doing, and I was actually, police did not have any provision to pay for such services. So all these services I was doing voluntarily, free of cost, without charging anything. But trust me, every day or every other day when I was engaged for any such operation for investigation, I was more satisfied than whatever I was doing in my private job. And at one point of time, I realized that actually my real strength is here. Actually, I'm enjoying this more than anything else. So at this time, I will also suggest you this fact that if you know as early as you know about your real interest and strength, the longer will be your success story. Normally, people realize it very late. They normally follow the traditional way of career developments, becoming a doctor, engineer, or a professional doing a government job or a private job. But they never realize, they never give a thought on this, that what is their own strength. Each one of us have a unique strength. We are here to do something unique. Whatever I can do or I could do, which was my strength. And I'm sure whatever you could do, whatever you are supposed to do, that will be your strength, and I can never do that. I can never even try to do that. And that is something which you should realize. And I'm telling you this with so confidence because in my entire journey, I was not the only one who was doing this. I get lots of support from youngsters from different colleges. They used to approach me. So we learned. They learned from me, I learned from them. And they told me something new all the time because they are actually reading fast. They are all actually updated, more updated than me. And I'm engaged in many other aspects. And it will happen with everybody. When we grow in terms of experience and age, we don't get sufficient time to keep ourselves updated. So we need to rely on the new blood and new age group, which is more uh, mm, active in this. And I would love to take few names here, of course. I'm not hesitating. Praveen Singh was a guy. He has recently got a job in Dubai, but he did wonders. Vishal Kumar was a guy who was working with me. Recently, Varish was a person who helped me, and many, many other people. I'm sure I cannot name out. Shubham was Rishav, many, many people. Why I'm telling you these names are these guys now working in some private company. But trust me, they get keep calling me for the assignments because still their the satisfaction quotient or the happiness quotient is lying here somewhere. Whenever we get an opportunity to train CBI guys or whenever we get an opportunity to train IB guys, I always take them along with me, and then they feel more satisfied, confident, and also I would say happy after doing that. So, sometime in your life, whatever you do for yourself will not make you happy. The happiness quotient will come when you can enable yourself so that you can change the life of others. When I say that I have solved 350 cybercrime cases, that doesn't mean that I have solved each and every case which came to me. Nobody can do so. Even every month today, we get close to 50, 60 cases. People approach me through mobile phone, they approach me through uh, Facebook page, Route 64 Foundation Facebook page, or many other emails and many other channels. They approach me through my friends as well. 50, 60 cases, and I have a very small team, and we all try to do best from our side, but out of 50, 60 cases, we hardly solve 5 or 6 cases in a month. This is the usual ratio. I'm telling you this honestly because people create a perception that if we go to Amit, he will solve every case. It never happens because the criminals are also growing fast, and I'm too honest to share these things with you. I need bigger team. I need more strength. I need more updated people. So we are also limited to our strength, knowledge, capabilities. Though every time we solve a case, we learn something new. We learn something innovative. And I am not appreciating or appraising criminals, but this is fact that criminals are innovators. They always think beyond the boundaries. They always think offbeat. They always think how to break this process technology, and we just follow them. As an investigator, we just try to follow them and try to understand their modus operandi, and then we learn. So, whatever learning I have, whatever stories I have to share with you, these all came from them. I have already narrated close to 75 stories on in my radio show, Red FM Hidden Files. But there are many stories, and every case is a unique case. Just to make this session interesting, I'll share some of these cases today with you guys, and with this intention to motivate you to join my hands to strengthen the government of India's cyber task force. And there are many, many opportunities. Honestly speaking, you can write to me. You can write to me on my Twitter handle, or you can write to me directly in my email ID. I'll share it with you later on. But they need thousands and thousands of such experts. So in one such case, which happened this year only, and I'm just thinking which story I should tell you. So I'll tell you a very interesting, cute story. I got a call from Meerut Police, and the DSP ma'am, she called me. She said, Amit, we need your help. And in this case, all the mobile phones in a house have been hacked. So I said, what do you mean by mobile phones are hacked? Like, how do you know this? And she said, like, they are receiving WhatsApp messages from one phone to another phone while both the phones are lying in front of them. The sender phone and the receiver phone, both are in front of them. And then they receive threatening WhatsApp messages. And when they respond to those messages, they receive response as well. So somebody would have hacked all the phones because the message could come from any phone. So there are 8, 10 people in the house, and randomly the message comes from anybody's WhatsApp number to anybody. So it was interesting, and then she said that anybody who enters into that house, in that house, His phone was also hacked. And sorry, this family filed a police complaint, and we sent a constable to them to their house. When constable left the house, they start receiving messages from constable's mobile number as well. So constable's mobile phone was also hacked in few minutes. So it was interesting. I said, okay, send me a few phones and I'll look into it. I'll investigate from my side. So she sent that victim along with the 4 5 phones. I sat with that victim, and then I started writing this entire story on whiteboard. I asked this victim, when did you start receiving this message? When did you receive the first message? And the victim said, we received first message on 23rd of January. 23rd of January 2021. And we are sitting in 25th of Feb sometime this year only. I said, okay, what was the first message? And he said, the first message came from my wife's mobile number to my father's mobile number. And as per the message, the hacker threatened my father that today you have scalded a girl, a 9 years old girl from the neighborhood. So you should go and touch her feet and say sorry, otherwise I will siphon all your money. So father was scared. He said, oh, this message came from the daughter-in-law's phone. So he asked uh, 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 the daughter-in-law that, why did you send this message? And the daughter-in-law showed that message phone that, no, I did not send this message. There was no such message in her WhatsApp's sending notations. So it was strange that message coming from the same number, but from some other device, which means the person have hacked the mobile phone or something. So father started negotiating with that caller, and he said, no, I'm too old to do something like this, and I think uh, I don't need to touch the feet of that girl or something. But the hacker was adamant, and he was very strict. He said, no, you have to do this, otherwise you will suffer all your life. So eventually father touched the feet of that girl and said sorry. In no time he received message from that hacker that, oh, thank you so much, you did good job, now let's wait for tomorrow. And then every day they start receiving some threatening message, some threatening or scary message from anybody's number, sometime from victim's mobile phone, his brother's mobile phone, his some other family member's mobile phone. And this cross messaging was happening. Few of these messages were like, one fine day they received a message that there is a girl in the courtyard and I have kept a sniper uh, uh, on her head, and you have 30 seconds, save her, otherwise I will shoot her. And all the family members, they start running around. They found a girl in the courtyard, they took her away. But this was unnecessary stress in the family. Like any day anything can happen. And then there was message, oh bhabhi ji aaj kitchen mein kaam kar rahi hain, kathal ban raha hai. Now how would he know that what is happening in our house and what my wife is doing? Then there was a message. He sent a video of the roof where the fan is running. So they got a recorded video of 10 seconds of their house from one mobile phone to another mobile phone, which means that the hacker can record videos from any phone at any time. He was trying to create that perception. Then one fine day, his younger brother came from Delhi to Meerut, and he was returning back. In midway, he received a message that his father expired. He called back to all the family members. Nobody picked the phone. So he had to come back from the midway. And he found everything is okay. It was strange, but again, it was creating unnecessary stress in the family. Then some insurance guy came one fine day and they received message. Insurance wala aaya hai, uski gaadi ka number ye hai. So the hacker was just trying to give them a feeling that I can see anything happening around your house, inside your house, and very, very personalized details. Like if they are discussing something inside the house, very, very personalized detail he was sending them. And I can't even tell you in this story because I wrote everything. And then This police constable, when he reached and when he left the house, they start receiving message from police constable's mobile number that अच्छा पुलिस वाले को बुला लिया देखते हैं क्या करता है. So it was this is the case, and it looks unusual, but this is and this is not the only case. After this, I received almost 25 such complaint, 25 such complaint, and uh, more or less the victim was of a similar type. The criminal was of a similar type. So this could happen with anybody around. I got complaint from Hyderabad, Bangalore, Banaras, Patna, Lucknow, and Delhi, and from families. Those are prominent families like joint secretaries, IAS officers, politicians. These kind of families, they were struggling with these kind of threats. Sorry. So when I wrote down all this on whiteboard, I asked him that, did you notice something unusual before 23rd of January? And the victim said nothing unusual, but we used to receive gifts from Amazon, cash on delivery gifts from Amazon. I said, okay, then. So he said that these gifts were booked through our numbers, but we did not book these gifts. So we used to deny them that no, we didn't order this. And then Amazon blacklisted us. Eventually, when we denied each and every such gift for many times, Amazon blacklisted us that you can't book a gift from Amazon on this number. Then he said that we start receiving Domino's pizzas almost every day at 8 p.m. And we used to scare that 8 p.m. the bell will ring and pizza guy will be in front of us that you have ordered the pizza. So we used to reject that as well, that we did not book it, we did not order it. So eventually, Domino's have also blacklisted them. I said, okay. Then I asked a question that, did you ever open any gift and see what was there in that gift? And the guy said, no, we didn't. We never opened the gift because we were not supposed to receive it. But one day I just saw some sticker on one gift, and it looks like it was a helicopter or something. I said, okay. Then I saw all those messages. Those were received on different mobile numbers from the family members' mobile numbers. When I read all those messages, I realized something, and I claimed that I know who could be this person. First of all, your phones are not hacked. If your phones were hacked, then the person would have taken the money already. He has not done anything. He has not given you any harm yet. He is just scaring you. So the person is not capable to actually siphon money from your account or to do something like this. He can just send you WhatsApp message. That's itself. That is the only thing which he has. Victim said, okay, sir, but it is still scary, and it is happening almost every day. And the next thing which I said, that I think this criminal is 13 to 14 years age of guy, a kid, because the way he's writing these messages, he's writing Hindi in Romans, and he's doing lots of mistakes. He has used the word rape and many other such words, and the spelling was RABE, which means this guy is of that age, not well educated, or doing some frequent mistakes. And the way the language that he's using, sniper and all, sniper and these kind of words we use in PUBG and such games. So I could identify a few of these things, jargons, and I declared that this should be a kid. And the victim said, sir, there's no such kid in our house, in our family, and in our neighborhood. No 13, 14 years old kid. Then I noted down each and every house members, how many members are there, kids, everything, every details on whiteboard. And then I realized that there is a kid of 9 years old kid in his house, his own son. I said, I'm doubting on this person. And the victim was a little shocked. He said, how could you doubt on a 9 years old kid? What he could do? He can't hack a phone. But he said, no, I'm thinking like he's actually doing it. So then I checked each and every phone, and I found one application in every phone. And that application was parallel space. Every phone had that application. And what is that parallel space application? That a parallel space application creates a phone inside a phone. So basically, if you install parallel space, and if you have installed WhatsApp in your phone, you can install another WhatsApp in that parallel space instance. So you go to parallel space inside that, and you will have another screen and another dashboard, and you can install again. You would have another Play Store there, and you can install WhatsApp there as well. So basically, a phone inside a phone. So every phone had two WhatsApp running. One, the main WhatsApp, which everybody knows about it, and another WhatsApp, which was inside parallel space on somebody else's number. And I'm not sure whether you know or not, but since last 22nd of October, WhatsApp has started supporting multiple devices. So you can have multiple instances of same number of WhatsApp. Kids are aware of it, though parents are not aware. And kids are aware of this parallel space kind of application as well. So when I showed him that, see, inside the parallel space in your phone, your brother's number is also configured. In your father's phone, your wife's number is also configured. In your wife's phone, your father's number is also configured. That means almost every phone had some other parallel space WhatsApp running inside it. So what this kid used to do, he used to have one phone inside in his hand, and which had one such number configured. The phone is lying in front of them, and then he used to send those messages. Then he said, sir, how can he hack so many phones? How can he install this? And how could he hack this constable phone? Because he came from outside, and not only constable, there were many people, they came from outside. And then I could tell him, see, if you configure WhatsApp and you need to see the OTP, you can see the OTP even if the phone is locked. You don't need to unlock the phone. Normally, by default, our settings are like this, that we can see the SMS OTP even if the phone is locked. So if a 9-year-old kid is touching your phone just to see the OTP and he's not unlocking it, you would never doubt on it. Or if he can come and do some shoulder surfing and he can see that OTP. So probably he was doing something like this, but this is the fact, because I could show you this parallel space is running, and inside that another WhatsApp instance is also running. The victim was also still in denial mode. He said, no, sir, because you are not able to catch criminal. That's why you are telling me stories. But my son cannot do this. And then I asked him that, can you show me the phone which your son is using? Then I got that phone. I scanned that phone, and then I found YouTube videos. So normally what do? We see activity list, we see browser histories, we see YouTube history, we see location tracking, everything. All these things we can do easily on every phone. So I found 12 YouTube videos downloaded in that phone, and the YouTube videos were titled as how to hack WhatsApp, how to hack mobile phone. And I showed this to this guy, that why your 9 years old kid were watching these videos, how to hack mobile phone and how to hack WhatsApp. And the victim said, sir, he was watching it because he wanted to help us. Because there was chaos inside our house and society everywhere. And this kid was also worried and he wanted to help us. So he was watching these videos just to tell us that how could this happen? If so. I said, okay. Then I saw all the dates when these videos were downloaded and viewed. And then I told him that all these videos were downloaded before 23rd of January. Why before 23rd of January? This was the first time the victim accepted, sir, I think you are right. There's something wrong. And then I showed him the activity list. I showed him the browser history and many other things. Because he was a kid, he could not do many such advanced level cleanup processes, but left lots of such evidences for us. But the point is not this. The point is that if a kid can do so, who is not well trained, what about the high end criminals? Those are operating today, and we have those challenges also in front of us. And this is, as I said, this is not the only story. Then I received a similar case from another cyber expert from Noida. He said, Amit, I need your help. And in a family, they faced a problem that the emails were going automatically from father's Gmail ID to his colleague or school, and some threatening emails. They changed the password multiple times. They changed, they applied multi-factor authentication, did all these standard things, and they were not even logging in and we saw the log. You can see the log, IP logs of all Gmail, last login details, etc. But we did not find any other IP address other than their own house. And these emails were going almost every day, even though there was no other login happened. And this was done by a kid. So I'm leaving this question to you. And there are two such vulnerabilities in Gmail. I would not say vulnerabilities were features. Those are exploited by many people to scare you. There are many other such things, especially in games like Hero Wars. And I used to have, for example, there was a case which I received where a father was just watching his WhatsApp and suddenly he got a pop-up message on his phone that तेरा phone hack हो गया है. तो वो थोड़ा सा scare हो गया. It was not a WhatsApp or SMS, it was a pop-up. So his screen was freezed and he could see that message. तो उसने थोड़ा सा घूर के देखा ये क्या है, अचानक वो चला गया मैसेज एंड देन ही सॉ अनदर पॉपअप मैसेज. घूर के क्या देख रहा है, मैंने बोल दिया फोन हैक हो गया. इट्स वेरी ड्रामेटिक. बट देन इन्होंने कुछ शाउट किया. जब शाउट किया तो वहां से फिर मैसेज आया कि गाली मत दे, ऐसा कर दूंगा, कुछ ऐसा कर. एंड दिस वाज हैपनिंग. इट हैपेंड फॉर अ फ्यू डेज एंड देन दिस गाय कंप्लेंट टू पुलिस. Police did not realize what is going on. The guy eventually he came to me, and then I could find the root cause. And I am sure you would all understand how it was happening. So I told him that I'm coming to your house and I'll tell you the modus operandi of it. So Google has a feature that if you have logged in, if you have used a Gmail in your phone and the same Gmail you are using on laptop, and the laptop is shared with somebody, he can easily send pop-up messages to your phone. He can change your PIN. He can format your phone remotely, or he can also track your locations. So these are 3-4 features. Those are there in Android Device Manager, which people are not aware of. Similarly, for previous case which I have just mentioned, I'm just leaving you. Just do some Googling and find it will be interesting. How could somebody send an email from your Gmail without logging in? So, and it is not a spoof email. It is actually email. So there are such hundreds and hundreds of such cases I receive every day, because I'm looking at this chat window and lots of questions are there. So I'll use some time for question answers. I'll stop here. Thank you once again for providing me this opportunity. I'll again request you all to ask lots of questions and to join me in my initiative. It may not give you enough money because we do it voluntarily, but it will give you enough networking. It will give you enough influence. It will give you enough power. And most of it, it will give you happiness. So if you want to be happy in your life, please join Route 64 Foundation, where we are creating a cyber a warfare team which to strengthen our police and law enforcement departments. Questions, please. Any question you can please ask, feel free.
All right. So, so we have a few questions from the audience. So, Hacker Devils asks, sir, how to prevent from these type of activity from happening?
Which activity?
So the one that you discussed, like the one with the
I
small
discussed four activities actually. If you have any specific activity or
so the like the one with where the small kid, he the 9-year-old kid.
okay, that one. Then. So see, if you know the entire modus operandi, you know the prevention steps as well. First of all, the common thing which I have noticed in many such cases, that you share your phone and devices with all family members, and the kind of discussion that was shared by this hacker through those messages were very personalized. So I had the initial doubt कि कोई घर का member ही होगा, क्योंकि ये चीजें बाहर से तो नहीं आप इतनी आसानी से ले सकते. प्रिवेंट कैसे करना है कि हर एक फोन में अपना पिन रखिए, फ्री ओपन मत रखिए फोन को, और वो पिन शेयर भी मत कीजिए. इफ यू नीड टू गिव द फोन टू समबडी, यू जस्ट अनलॉक इट एंड देन गिव. एक कॉमन प्रैक्टिस रखिए क्योंकि जब प्रॉब्लम आती है तो आप कभी अपने आसपास के लोगों पे डाउट नहीं करते, यू ऑलवेज डाउट ऑन समबडी एल्स, और फिर प्रेशराइज करते हो पुलिस को कि कोई बाहर दूर रोमानिया में बैठा मेरे घर के पीछे पड़ा है। पर ऐसा होता नहीं है। Most of the time the criminals are around you. So if you make this as a cyber hygiene practice, even if you are sharing your laptop with somebody, don't share it through your login details. Like, you can create a user ID separately and then log in into your laptop through that user ID and then share it with somebody, so that at least your Gmail accounts and other social media accounts would not be vulnerable to him. So these are the things which you can do as a practice. I think it will save a lot. It will save you from lots of issues.
So another question that we have on the same situation is, what was the punishment that was like the kid received? Like, was he punished or something?
So, very interesting question. Actually, we cannot punish a kid because our law does not permit that. And in this particular case, uh, we were worried like how to tell this to a kid, because kid is just 9 years old. He's not mature enough to even receive these things positively. And if we will, and moreover, if we will tell him that we know everything, he may go in depression. And because the kind of messages that he has sent, थोड़ा गाली गलौज करके और ऐसे keywords use करके जो उसको भी नहीं पता कि इसकी meanings क्या है, तो lifelong he may not be able to face his father or family. So I suggested his father that don't ever share this with your kid. Just tell him that you got to know the modus operandi and you have identified a criminal. Police is arresting that criminal, but never ever make your kid realize that you know that he has done this. Let him recover this on his own. He'll come out from this automatically, because once he'll realize like किस situation में भी पकड़े जा सकते हैं, तो वैसे ही back foot पे आ जाएगा. Because this is not the age when we should force or scare somebody of that age. This is not the only case though. There were many such cases, and that's why it's very difficult sometimes to handle in this situation. This is a bigger challenge, especially for police department.
Okay, so we have another question here. How can we join the cyber cell? Like, is there any process that they can follow?
You can write to me directly on Route 64 Foundation Facebook page, facebook.com/Route 64 Foundation. You can approach me through that. You can follow me at Cyber Dubey. My Twitter handle is Cyber Dubey. You can also write to me on my email ID, route64foundation@gmail.com. Okay.
And so there are also asking about workshops that you might conduct.
Yeah, so we used to conduct lots of workshops. We publish it on our page, Route 64 Foundation page. You can join us over there. Just give me a second, na, Samar. Hello. Okay. Okay. So we used to actually there are two kinds of workshops that we conduct. One especially for police, exclusively to police, and one for cyber experts and enthusiasts. Those are those want to learn these things. But eventually, when you start helping police and you become part of such investigations, then there's no difference. Then you will be trained on all those things. Those are because then they rely on your maturity, because you need to sometimes keep it confidential. The data that will be shared with you for investigation will be very very personal, private, confidential, and that confidence comes slowly. So I think you should be there with them for at least a year, and then this will happen automatically.
We have a question from Ayush Juneja, and he asks how to join NIA as a cybersecurity expert.
NIA, I'm not sure about NIA, but the CBI, they recruit lots of people from uh, like not through a regular process, but direct recruitments as a consultant, and they used to request me to suggest some people, and they pay a good salary. So you can approach me for that, and these kind of openings keeps coming. Even today morning, I got a call from CBI officer, and he asked me to suggest 4 or 5 people those can work with CBI headquarter with 1 year, 2 years experience probably. So I keep receiving such requests from CBI, from different state police departments, from many other BPRND and many other such departments. NIA, I'll check whether NIA have that provision or not, because NIA normally deals with very sensitive cases, very high-end sensitive cases. So I'm not sure whether they are ready to engage private consultant at this stage. But I'm sure they would have some channel. For example, I used to get engaged through such channel which was not official channel, but unofficial channels are there, and you need to go there and work. You can't bring that data out. So there'll be restrictions, but for sure you can contribute.
We have another question. What should be our mindset to find attackers, to find cyber attackers?
There are different kind of attackers, as you all know. See, you guys are much more advanced than me. I would seriously, honestly accept this. I just have the experience of solving crime, so I know those nuances. Sometimes they look very people don't believe. People don't believe, and I'll tell you all these stories. So reality is most thrilling thing. The thing in crime domain, if you notice, uh, we normally don't imagine few such things, and that happens. So that is the biggest attraction which I have realized. And it has its own motivation. I just forgot your question. Sorry, because I was also looking at the pop-up messages. What was the
So
question?
they asked that what should be their mindset to find
Mindset, yeah.
any attacker.
Mindset. So see, you need to see from their motivational perspective. What is their motivation? Once you know the motivation, you will understand their mindset. If you need to understand the criminal's mindset, see, APT group, they'll have different mindset. A criminal who is sitting in Jamtada, he'll have a different mindset. A person who is insider, he's a different mindset. A corporate crime will happen through a different mindset. So there'll be you, and you can understand it easily once you will go through those stories. So I have already written 75 such stories in 6 books. You can find it on Amazon. Just go through those case studies and you will realize that every time, how do I catch those criminals? Before that, I need to learn their mindset.
Okay, I think
Any other question?
um, one last question we have. What are the things we must learn to get into cyber cell, NIA, and all of these organizations?
See, normally in our regular such courses, when we learn cybersecurity, we are trained on defensive side of components, how to secure something, how to configure firewalls or perimeter security system, endpoint security systems, or router security, or maybe the server security, cloud security. So all these things are told to you, but they never tell you the offensive part of it. I think that is something which is still lagging in our education systems. You need to learn it on your own, and this is something which is required in police, because police will use more your offensive capabilities than defensive. So and unfortunately you need to learn it on your own, but there are enough stuff, there are enough things on internet which can be referred, which can be used for case studies. You should always rely on the previous cases. You can get it from police. I can connect you with lots of cyber cells. Just go there, see those cases, and then apply your mind that how can you approach in the situation. Even if you have solved 100 cases and a new such case comes in front of you, it will require a different approach. You can use your confidence, you can use your technical knowledge, but believe me, no such previously proven investigation process will help you as it is in another case. Every such case has some or other unique pattern, and that is something which will keep you always on toe. You cannot sit and relax कि चलो हमने इतने केस सॉल्व कर लिए तो अब ये भी कर लेंगे. ऐसा होगा नहीं कभी.
Okay, I think that was the last question. There is one more. One more. What are your views on cyber volunteer programs?
Volunteer programs are run by different state level police departments. Even Punjab Police is running it. They are engaging volunteers, and UP Police is also doing it. Kerala has been doing it since years, almost 13, 14 years. They have Cocoon and Cyberdome as an entities where you can be engaged through those platforms. So these are wonderful platforms. These are wonderful platforms that gives you an opportunity to get associated with mainstream policy. So I think you should always try register yourself over there, be a part of it. But then I think you need to be more. I would say you need to put lots of effort from your side as well, because even police is not aware what kind of help you can do to them. So when you approach to any police officer, and you can do, you don't need my help in that actually. I did it many times. I just called that SP cyber or local city SP and sat with him, and I asked him that can you share with me some cases I can help you. And he was a little skeptical initially that how can you help me? You are not a police officer. And then I told him some of my skills, and he shared few of those cases, and I helped him. So sometimes you need to be little proactive to approach in such situations, because they don't know what kind of help you could do. It is you who can prove it, and then they will be dependent on you.
Okay, I think that was the last question. So thank you very much, Amit sir, for an insightful presentation. And we truly appreciate your contribution to Damcon 2021.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great time and do your best. Congratulations once again for organizing this wonderful event. Good luck. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Jen, sir.
The Bug Crowd platform is the fastest way to access diverse security skills that continuously add value to your organization. First, we'll connect you with solutions that add the most value, like bug bounty, penetration testing, attack surface management, and vulnerability disclosure programs. When you're ready, we'll begin plugging your team into our on-demand cybersecurity workforce. Don't worry, our trust and triage engine will always vet expertise and validate reports, saving you valuable time. With standardized workflows repeatable as you scale, your team can hit the ground running. The platform will help build incentivization frameworks that optimize submissions, while also calibrating and retesting to deliver resilient security outcomes, all while managing the expertise needed for end-to-end execution. Finally, the customer console keeps you in the driver's seat, providing you everything you need to be successful, empowering you to fix faster with integrations that roll directly into your SDLC. The Bug Crowd platform is the fastest way to access diverse security skills that continuously add value to your organization. First, we'll connect you with solutions that add the most value, like bug bounty, penetration testing, attack surface management, and vulnerability disclosure programs. When you're ready, we'll begin plugging your team into our on-demand cybersecurity workforce. Don't worry, our trust and triage engine will always vet expertise and validate reports, saving you valuable time. With standardized workflows repeatable as you scale, your team can hit the ground running. The platform will help build incentivization frameworks that optimize submissions while also calibrating and retesting to deliver resilient security outcomes, all while managing the expertise needed for end-to-end execution. Finally, the customer console keeps you in the driver's seat, providing you everything you need to be successful, empowering you to fix faster with integrations that roll directly into your SDLC. The Bug Crowd platform is the fastest way to access diverse security skills that continuously add value to your organization. First, we'll connect you with solutions that add the most value, like bug bounty, penetration testing, attack surface management, and vulnerability disclosure programs. When you're ready, we'll begin plugging your team into our on-demand cybersecurity workforce. Don't worry, our trust and triage engine will always vet expertise and validate reports, saving you valuable time. With standardized workflows repeatable as you scale, your team can hit the ground running. The platform will help build incentivization frameworks that optimize submissions while also calibrating and retesting to deliver resilient security outcomes, all while managing the expertise needed for end-to-end execution. Finally, the customer console keeps you in the driver's seat, providing you everything you need to be successful, empowering you to fix faster with integrations that roll directly into your SDLC.
Welcome back, everyone. Next up, we will have a security researcher who is currently working as a cybersecurity engineer at Honeywell, Mr. Fardeen Ahmed, talking about dealing with offensive security at organizations. Mr. Fardeen is a software developer, application security engineer, ethical hacker, pen tester, and a lifelong learner. Sir, we welcome you to Damncon 2021 and we humbly request you to take over the stage and address the gathering.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for a very great introduction. Uh, just for the things and stuff, my name is Fardeen Ahmed, as introduced in the best way possible. So I'll try to just share my screen a bit so that it will be very much good for everyone, I guess. So I'll be. Is the screen visible? To just let me know if possible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so today we'll be having a very small talk in the most in the screwed up in the most decent manner possible, in the dealing with the offensive security and organizations. And let's get started, shall we? Small introduction given as way before about me, what I do, and generally what I am right now. And just recently, I would say just some of my achievements that includes finding some vulnerabilities at CISF, CDLMS, and Cisco, and other flaws also I found out at different platforms such as Canva, Mastercard, Old Games, and many more. So in today's topic of discussions, we'll be dealing with what offensive security generally is and its significance with the organizations in current situations. And next, we'll move towards what are the main question and concern why offensive security should be dealt with. Then we'll be dealing with arrangements of security with respect to organizations. Next, we'll move towards offensive security contribution for the optimum security within an organization. Then we'll move towards a very brief introduction about what threat intelligence is, what are outsiders and insiders, and what are the precautionary measures. Key learnings for getting started in offensive security for everyone, and areas of we'll be having a very small introduction about areas of job opportunity in offensive and defensive offensive security in developed and developing countries. So let's start. Just a very small infosec meme that literally what happens in any organization that deals with information security. It's just as it seems like, okay. And my cybersecurity program and outdated their certificates and improperly encrypted data and weak passwords. Information security is like what my parents think and what I actually do. In reality, that this is what I generally do. It's like sitting in a cubicle. Right now, it's not, but because it's work from home stuff. So right now, it isn't, but still, that's how we are dealing with. And what is offensive security? Let's just move forward. Now, if you believe that getting an OSCP certification makes you a very good at offensive security, I believe that's not completely true in every factor. Offensive security is a mindset. Just be clear about it. It's not at all that you're doing a red teaming person, so you're in offensive security. No, it's not at all. Offensive security is a very big thing. It's quite a big thing. Whatever you want to deal with or wish with and it consists of a lot of things. It just not only consists of red teaming, but it also consists of blue teaming also. It consists of purple also, and it consists of a lot of things that is included with the offensive security in a partial way. Now these all are interconnected, but still they are much more explanatory. So that's what generally offensive security is. It's a mindset, just if you have to get to know about the things, okay? Now, different organizations are dealing with information security in a very different way. In the organization that I've recently joined, the offensive security division generally deals on different tools and techniques and firewall build up and manually configuring those things. But it's much more of a purple team. But my work consistently is over logging and monitoring stuff and dealing with what are the things that are actual assets of the organizations and testing for PII vulnerabilities within the organization. So whenever you're dealing in offensive security, be sure that if anyone flashes you that yes, I am a red teamer, so that doesn't mean he's a complete offensive security guy. but rather he has the idea of how to deal in offensive security within the organization. Okay, so if a person says that he's an OSCP, it's a good thing. He has the knowledge about how it is done, but not completely. So just have things in mind. So offensive security consists of a lot of things. It starts from testing for the weaknesses and then exploiting those ethically and reporting it to the different teams, and jotting it down as fast as possible, as quick as possible, and as optimized as possible to the organization's head and managers, so that they'll be able to provide the mitigational decisions, and that will be taken care of by the blue teams and the purple teams and what's. Cyber teams are there. So that's all for offensive security, and why offensive security. Offensive security had the idea about different companies were having an HCL PII breach. Okay, so Domino's were having a breach, HCL was having a breach, and recently Accenture had a massive breach of PII. PII means personally identifiable information leakages, and that is a very, very unrealistically bad thing for any organization. Like let's face it, Domino's Pizza, everyone is using the online services, and I myself used it, but still, although the syllable is wrong, but still I also used it, and my personal information was also leaked there with the ID and password and all. So it's like it was a complete disaster for that organization. Why? Because they didn't take offensive security very seriously. Okay, so there were many good friends of mine who were able to find some flaws. They were able to find some great flaws at Domino's and HCL. I don't know about Accenture because I had no idea about that much. But Domino's and HCL, and they were not they were not even rewarded for what they found out, because they were much more in a freelance way. And in the HCL and HCL had that massive breach at that moment, and they had a very bad time. And Domino's, it was a disaster. It is an Accenture. It was good. It was the massive PII that happened for the whole organization, gave them the idea of what should be taken care of, because mostly Accenture deals with dealing with the defensive part of it, but they didn't try to work over the offensive security, as a matter of which they had this massive PII breach. So next breach can happen at any time and any way. So why not we try our best as an offensive security researchers and cybersecurity engineers to pen test our own organization, such that it should be ethically available to different organizations, and that's going to be quite handful for it. So that is what offensive security for normal PII should be taken care of for different organizations. So moving on, we are having arrangements of security with organizations. Now, different organizations are having different kind of thinking about different ways of mitigating things and different way of implementing the things. Okay, now for example, like where I generally recently joined at Honeywell, the infosec life cycle is completely different to what it was where I was just working as a freelance researcher. So at, like, for example, I had some reconnaissance and I was able to find out that how PwC is able to do their things, their security life cycles, and how they're dealing with SDLC, and how they're perfecting their product. Now, perfecting a product is a very basic stuff that that any organizations should do in order to reach the optimum security for that product of that organization. Now, most of the organization starts with it, but they are not able to, jot it down all the things at one particular time, which which makes that product to be very much unhealthy to use. Although people are using it now, just if we go it back now for Domino's, we all were using, Domino's pizza. We are eating it, consuming it, and we were using that their application. But a very slight problem within their authentication mechanism leads to the massive PII breach. It was a very simple logic of authentication, but it was a very complex logic to send the authentication from the user to the database, and then do all those procedures. But in reality, what happened is Domino's Pizza application the researchers or the hackers who were there, they were able to replicate the complete code of that application, and they were able to reverse engineer it in the best way possible, and they were able to find out that there was a very simple threading procedure of the API of the API with respect to the backend of the servers, and through that there were a lot of chaos. There were a lot of chaos, and this PI happened of the dominoes. So different organizations are having different kind of security dealings, and they have a very different approaches also. So although they will be having a very similar mechanism. Okay. Now the third is, when whatever the people find out, like the current or the newly found out zero-day vulnerability, or these all are being taken care of with respect to the automated tools and manual testing by those researchers which are in the security organizations. This is how offensive security people work. Now, whenever there is a person who claims that he is an OSCP certified, one should have the idea that he should have some certain skills such as reverse engineering. He should have the idea about how code reviews are done, and then he should have the idea about how firewalls are being bypassed, so that they'll be able to make it much more secured. But generally, different organizations having different approach, they spend a lot over defense but not over offensive security, and that's why there are huge blunders in different organizations. And in sincerely thinking about how security is working in the organizations, the fourth point is different organizations have different tools. Simple. Now, for example, for IBM, they have IBM QRadar and they have their own InfoSec lifecycle. Now, these all three life cycles will be all equivalent in working. But what is not equal is how they are being presented or implemented. Now, let me tell you one thing. What happens is, whenever a product starts from its possession, from its coding area to the area of extent where it can be lead to, like from the scratch to the top, it takes quite a time. What time? For example, there is a developer starts to build a product, it goes to the testers. Now testers are testing in each and every way possible to break the code in such a way that it might consist of some kind of vulnerabilities, loopholes, or what we say, flaws or bugs in the product. But generally that doesn't happen with the organizations. What happens is, organizations get that product, they build the product with the right SDLC, and they get a report that yes, it's completely done. Now what happens is, if managers are good, then it's a great thing. But if managers are not that much of good person or analytical about the development field, then what happens is a lot of blunders happen. I cannot jot it down. If there is an event, if I have to say, then in a freelance project I was working, not here but at different project. It was a great project. Okay, so in that project I was dealing with what do you say, an Android application where the UI was absolutely fantastic. The user interface was very much decent. They were you just, if a user is there, he'll be having exactly complete idea about how that product is going to work and how the product is going to deal with things. So when I was given the chance to test the application, I was like, fine, I will be doing it. When I started to see the code review, I was able to get the API threads to be straightforward. And the documentations which were present of that API, which were readily available at Google, you just have to Google it and you'll get that API and their documentation. That documentation itself says that these are the things through which you'll be able to get the user information. Now, they didn't set explicitly within the sentences, but they were able to explain it that yes, these are some of the positions. Yeah, these are the places through which users and administration are having an equal opportunity to work within a function. So if a user and admin is able to work within an equal opportunity for function, it directly implies that there will be some of the other functionalities that are being shared within the administration as well as with the user. So why not to abuse the function of the user with respect to the administration, which is being implemented from that API within that application. So I tried that, and eventually I was able to get the PII, means personally identifiable information. always remember that for any organizations or for any product, the very first basic thing is to secure the data which are being stored as well as being sent to the database, and that can be done only when one is will be having the that analytical thinking and having quite an experience about how to deal with offensive security. Now, before like joining organizations, before I was doing some freelance stuff, so I had some kind of an idea about how to do these things. And in my university there were some of the classes of reverse engineering, so and there is YouTube, and I was able to get to the things, and I told them that these are the things and these are the ways through which you're able to get the PII of complete organization, like organization's data and the people. So the people who were working there, they were very much good. Okay, and they said that okay, that's a very good thing that you found out. And but our security team said that whatever you found out, we know that thing. Okay, so it was slightly like a that security research that is typically done on any platform, but it was much more in a very reported way. So we told them that I told them, like personally, I told them that these were my findings, whatever you found out. I told them again that I am able to extract all that PII from your Android application, from your database, and I can easily download it. And I told them that these are the things that you should mitigate it, but still they didn't. So I mailed them multiple times, but they didn't. So I just left that place for like that project for just for no reason, because the main reason for leaving the project was they were not at all interested in security, but they were very much you know dealing with defense completely for that application. And I was like, you cannot deal with defense until and unless you have the right approach of dealing with offensive security. So I told them. So different organizations have different area. They are having IBM QRadar, they're having PwC Security Lifecycle, and Honeywell InfoSec Lifecycle that we are dealing with. The very first thing what we deal as an offensive security researcher is to very first thing to sit with the blue teaming people as well as with the with the developers, and we discuss about what really that product does. For example, the documentations are there, but apart from documentations, what that application does, or what that security, what the say that particular product is dealing with, what are the things that it stores it, or what are the things that it sends it. So they tell about these things, and they tell about we are testing for these organizations, and we are testing with the yeah, we are doing it, releasing the beta versions, and we are working over beta versions. You can test the beta version and then think about it and tell them us what are the things that you would like to change and all those things. So that's how we are doing the product testing. For the organization's complete auditing, the very first thing when we enter in any organization is to check the networks, no matter what. The very first thing is to check the networks, see the topology, what they're working on. If they're working on mesh or hybrid, then it's fine. But because dealing just to know about what topology they are working on is the very first thing, and offensive security will be having the idea about what are the things that can be done to make sure or to find the main vulnerabilities within the organization and all those things. So that's quite a huge thing that whenever a security researcher or offensive security researcher comes to your organization and deals with it. The second thing is testing the systems. Now, system testing is always done with the permission when you have the access to the network. If you are able to penetrate the network, start creating the report, finding the report, and just filing the report from network research, and then telling that these are the things that we are dealing with, and these are the things that I found out, and I was able to penetrate in your things in your network, and what are the disadvantages of what that topology you're working on, and the encryption standard what you're using. Now generally people are using great amount of standards because every organization is paying huge in defense but not that much in offensive security. Like overall they show that we are dealing in securities, but most of them are dealing with defense as compared to offensive security, but still it's okay. And the third thing what we are dealing with is to see the systems with the current operating system they are running on. Now there are a lot of like more than 70% organizations have changed from Windows to any other to any other operating system, like either upgraded it or changed it to any other operating system. There are a lot of organizations that they tie hands with Windows, and they are making their own customized Windows operating system, such that their system is going to be quite restricted to that network only. And if any component is taken out or taken externally through that network, that's not going to work, or they are going to have some kind of authentication procedure. So that are some of the things that are dealt in the organization. That also comes in offensive security, because offensive security people are testing those things. And lastly, what we are dealing with is to work with social engineering, and that's a great thing to work on. We are at that moment we are sitting with the managers, and then we are dealing with those employees that are working within that within their cubicles, and that's a very awesome, that's a very awesome thing to be dealing on, like, seriously. Apart from that, things are going great, things go awesome, but still offensive security is a place where people should have the idea and should involve as much as possible, because in today's world I've seen that there are many people who are joining with us, and it's a good thing, but we need some more time, because whatever we are right now, the cyber criminals that are outside of the place, it's quite different. This is it. So the next part is, what optimum security does an offensive security is working on? Okay, like, what is offensive security? What we believe offensive security should be with respect to the organization. The very first thing, as explained in before, PII is the godfather of all the assets of the organization. So if that thing is lost or breached, and then everything is breached, gone, tata, bye bye, goodbye, khatam, finish. Okay, so we try our level best to make our assets of the PII to be as much as strong as possible. Second thing, clients rely on organizations with latest updates and features with strategic testing. Now, there will be some cybersecurity organizations or the teams that are dealing with different clients of different organizations. Now, that's a great thing. That's a very good thing. But clients are not that much, in that they don't indulge with us. They are like, okay, you have the idea, but we have our own security team. Why should we follow yours? So we'll be showing our features and updates and all those things. But this thing can only be achieved if you are dealing with the people of boards and all those things. Because if you are able to make them to be like, like, if they are able to get to the grassroot policy, that yes, this is the thing, that what they're saying or speaking or explaining it is right, so they rely on us. Then they are like, okay, we accept your things, and we would love to have a collaboration with all those things. So the clients have all the rights to know about all the features and end goals of what we as a offensive security people, as well as be at any organization, and denoting any organization to be as a security researcher shows to us. So using firewalls from different vendors is good. Like, there are a lot of vendors. There are a lot, like, seriously, there are many organizations that they are giving you the firewalls. They are giving their different methodologies. They are showing it everything to you. But the organization that is taking the offensive security approach from any third organization or even from their security team should have the idea of the implementation. What implementation of any product or any contribution or any approach that is being done from the base part. Now, it is either in the virtual testing area or in the real life scenario for incident response also. It happens. Now, see, what happens is, whenever you are dealing in firewalls and there are a lot of vendors, like, for example, I took that of Fortinet, because I've worked, not worked generally, but I've seen about Fortinet, that they're having quite a good, you know, firewall settings and all those things, but that's not that much of, that's not optimized. Optimized in what sense? Optimized in every sense. Like, for example, they are having the best out of the authentication procedure and they're restricting it, but their restriction policies are so much huge so that many a times users get irritated, and what happens is they leave the security from like their security features and security firewalls and all that. They just leave it and they go to any other vendors. And the organizations that deal in day-to-day, transactions and all those things, they'll be needing a lot of these things. So I would say that if any organization is dealing in any third party any third party, they should have the grassroots level observation through how their testing mechanism is starting and how they reach to that position. So that's how offensive security gets in collaboration within that security domains of any organization. Different teams with equal share of responsibility and right distribution is the key feature of optimum security. What happens is many a times, for example, let's take a scenario where red teaming, blue teaming, and purple teaming people are working together. Now, purple teaming is nothing but the same mixture of it, but it's much more of SOC type of a thing. Red team is completely offensive, and blue team is defensive. So if they are collaboratively working it, okay, many times it happens that offensive researchers are quite less in numbers, or sometimes quite huge in numbers, and defensive are vice versa, like either huge, like they're not balanced. Okay, like if I have to jot it down, then the complete team is not balanced up, and that's a very bad part of within an organization which is dealing cybersecurity things. What happens is whenever a breach happens, offensive security person will be able to get to know that what was the things that the organization went through in order to have this attack. And the defense will be like, yeah, these are the places which has been breached, and purple will be like, okay, we'll be trying our best to do these things, but they won't be coming at a particular conclusion due to the virtue of which, not virtue, I would say, due to the bad thing that happens within the organization, that different teams are not able to collaborate in the best way possible. So collaboration is the very big key to fight different types of vulnerabilities, different types of threats, and different types of things that comes within an organization. Okay. And fifth part, which is I would personally recommend to everyone, that documentation about any product feature should be present, but not about its implementations. Readily available at Google. I didn't add that thing. Now, Google is the best thing for researchers to find anything on internet. If you know how to do Google, or if you know how Googling works, so that will be a fantastic thing. So documentations of any product should be available within the organization. And API, for example, I've seen that there are many API documentation present which are not explicitly telling what are the things that which are explicitly explaining the things. They are explaining that what are the things that you can test out and try out, and you can get to the part and you can you know deal with it. And that's a very bad thing that happens. What bad thing happens is, like, for example, I just an example that I am testing an API of any organization or any product. So what happens is the documentation explains, they don't hide the things, they just say it straightforward, like, yeah, the version 1 consists of these many or types of users, version 2 consists of these type of users, and third is these type of users. Now you categorize, now particularly that organization categorized the users in 3 part, but there was of no use. But when you change these 3 sections to the null void, like null section, like for example, it's like, for example, it's v1 or v2 v3, and then you just change it and you just put a double slash or just put a 0, because there was nothing explicitly explained in it, but it was said that there are some of the possibilities that gives the chance of breach in most fastest way possible. So documentation of the product should be available. It should not be explicitly telling what the product does. Okay, if they want to deal with it, log in with the organization, have a discussion with it, and then deal with it. So that's the key takeaway for optimum security. Threat intelligence: outsiders versus insiders. Outsiders, we literally deal the outsiders in our day-to-day life, like seriously, like anyone is DDoSing the things. Okay, like if any newbie person is there, newbie or newbie, whatever the thing is, or any fresher person is there, he or she, like DDoS the network. So what as an or anyone as a network admin will try to filter that traffic or that packet as much as possible. But that can be also be done in a very certain level. Like for example, if I'll be putting an authentication limits, or I'll be putting any packet limit also, so that is quite difficult. Although it's going to be very good, but it's quite difficult to do it. Okay. So outsider threats are always a pain in the butts, and you just cannot, it takes quite a huge of a heart that you have to fight those outsiders. It's very difficult to fight it because they're if you just block an IP, another IP comes out. Why? Because VPNs are there, so they just change the VPN. They just change their IP address. They just again start to do it. And it's let me tell you one thing. It's easy to work against botnets because there are many different factors and there are many other ways through which you can just secure your organization. But when you're dealing with one device and it just hops out through a IP rotating and whatever the things are, it's quite difficult. Okay, so in a wholesome, if I have to say, then outsiders are quite difficult to deal with. It's very difficult. So what generally we as an offensive security people with Purple Team do is we just manually configure firewalls as much as fast as possible. Okay, so it should not only filter the incoming traffics, it should also filter out any request. They should put a rate limit of it, or they should put a timeout or something like that. We are just putting it so that there will be some restriction of from that particular IP address to the any system or in the network. The second part is the insider threat intelligence, which is once in a blue moon thing, because insider, but right now it's emerging huge because there are a lot of people who are learning through YouTube, like how to hack WhatsApp in 1 minute. Recently, like previously, Amit sir said in the very best way. I was watching it. It was in the very best way. He explained that how the kids are watching the YouTube and they're all doing it. Although YouTube being the best platform, still there are many things that is explicitly available, and people are able to, especially the cyber criminals, are able to figure it out how to deal with it. So insider threats, if I have to give it, is any other person who comes within an organization or be in an organization and he wants to take revenge against that organization or against that person, anything like that. So that is what that person is an insider threat to that organization. Dealing with insider threat is quite difficult because no one knows what to do it. But within the network administration area, or the person who is dealing with networks and who is dealing with security, like we people, we believe that networks, whatever the devices that are connected, unfortunately they are monitored about their whatever the activities they are being done. Like for example, you're getting an excess of what do you say what do you say Wi-Fi connection, and you're able to download a lot of things. So many times it happens we are able to get to know, oh, these are the people who downloaded these type of things, either a B grade movie or a C grade movie or any series or anything like that. So we are able to get to know the things. But why we do it? Because this is what our general work is, to deal with the devices within our organizations, and we put those whatever the logs, whatever the indexed information we are getting it within a report, and we just push it to our manager so that he should have the idea about latest threats that are being worked on and possible potential insider threat people which are within the organization. And the last one is threat intelligence is not only restricted to tools and firewalls only. We are also dealing it manually through social engineering. We are dealing it not just only by social engineering. Now, social engineering, generally people think that, oh, we are able to lure the person, and you are just pulling him towards us so that he'll be able to get to the things. No, that's not generally what we're doing through social engineering to the threat intelligence, from to the threat in to the insider threat person, but rather we push his limits to that much extent so that we're able to get to the potentiality of what are the things that he is able to perform it. So in that repercussion, he is able to get back to it and he does some malicious stuff, and then only we're able to get to things. So starting from programming the products, infrastructure architecture build up to deployment, we are dealing with threat intelligence. We have to, because that's what our work is. And teams need to be attentive and need not always to be dependent over automated tools and techniques. You should be having the idea, you should be, that much knowledgeable and sensed out what are the things that any offensive security person should have the idea, or the team members who are working within the organization. And generally, what happens is people are saying that we want to work as an offensive security people, and we are not able to get to those certifications because certifications are indeed necessary to work in the offensive security area. But still, they are not able to get to the things because it's quite costly. Like seriously, like $1,100 or $500 or something like that. And sometimes some sale comes out, but still they are in dollars. And we being in India, we being literally Indian, we are not able to get to that position because we are students. Okay, and the people who are working professionals also, they are also not able to get to the things. So what one has to do if in order to learn offensive security is to have the basic knowledge and network architecture idea and the implementation of how networks are being built within that organization, how it is implemented and how it is running. One should have the idea about how operating system works, from caching mechanism and everything. Okay, one should have the idea about it. And database management system, no doubt. If you are dealing with offensive security, you should have an extreme clear cut inference about what DBMS or database management system is and how it is working. Different organizations have different structured DBMS. One can go there, and of course, when you're dealing with them in a very ethical way, they'll be proposing you the deep, infrastructure. Through that, you'll be telling them and testing them how you are able to break the things. The second is to start to deal with machines that are present at Walnut, Hack the Box, Try Hack Me, that are absolutely free of cost. You can go at Help Walnut, go to the Hack the Box, check it out. You can go there. There are many retired machines also. There are machines that you can do it. Especially, I would say to go for Walnut and Try Hack Me because these are absolutely free of cost. Recently, they are going to start that Advent of Cyber. It's quite an event from December. You can go there, you can join it, and that's going to be fantabulous for getting started as an offensive security. Third is to try the OWASP machines. Although it's quite, it's quite old. I would say it's quite old, but still they are, working over it. They are making and renewing the machines with new vulnerabilities, which are quite awesome. You can go and check it out for that. You can go for Portswigger and Contra. These are going to be your best friends for learning offensive security testing. Portswigger not only deals with API and web application pen testing, they also treat with network infrastructure pen testing, but in different manner. For example, they'll be having different kind of vulnerability to be tested within the system, for the networks. So that's how Portswigger is dealing with offensive security. And Contra is your best friend for APIs, so you can go there, check it out. And always remember, whenever you are testing any system, on the basis of on the basis of whether you're an offensive security researcher or just a security researcher or normal cybersecurity engineer, or you're a reverse engineer or malware analysis person, anything like that, read the documentation of that product of organization as much as possible so that you'll be having the idea. Okay, have a notebook or have a notepad within your system, write it down, jot it down, and have the collected everything about it within to yourself. Okay, have it to yourself, and remember to work in teams as much as possible. Offensive security is completely a teamwork stuff. Even if you are finding the finest of the finest loopholes of that system of that organization, and if you are not able to work in team and tell them how to, what their findings are, they will say just one thing, that I don't know about what you're dealing with, go to the manager directly. Now what happens is, whenever you're dealing with managers and not with the intermediaries, what happens is you'll be telling the managers and managers are going to ignore you. Okay, because how managers are dealing with, managers are going to test, they'll be like asking the security team head. That security team head is going to ask their members, and any one member should be intent or indulge with you within a testing, within any particular testing scenario, and that is going to help you out more as compared to doing it independently. Many times it happens that bug bounty hunters are not paid because of that. I've seen many people, even I was also not when I was once started the journey with bug bounty hunting on web applications, but still they don't get it. So I moved towards it. I was able to find out how to things work, and eventually it went as best as possible. So I would conclude here only, and if anyone wants to ask or gets to reach me in any way possible, you can just come to me and you just come to this link. There are the things are available, and you can deal with it.
Okay, so we have a few questions from the audience.
Okay.
So the first one is cryptocurrency a threat to Indian economy?
That's a very good question, I would say. But see, cryptocurrency is the next phase, or I would say it's a future for currency exchange in any other country like India or outside the India or anywhere. Because see, and the previous time, what used to happen is people used to have different kinds of currency, and people used to exchange their currencies, and but they used to have different type of taxes. Like for example, people used to have right now also they're having quite a different kind of currency with respect to their country. But overall, there are some currencies which are uh, completely acceptable all over the world. So coming at dealing with cryptocurrency is going to be much more better and safer. But what you have to deal with as a user, like whatever the user you are, what you have to deal with is be ready as much as possible, learn as much as and gain knowledge as much as possible about cryptocurrency and how your wallet is going to be secured. And that's how you're going to deal with cryptocurrency in upcoming years. So that's quite, you know, that is what going to help you out. That's what I say.
So I guess okay, the person who asked this question, they provided a extra clarification. Like, is it a threat to cybersecurity as it's untraceable?
That's a very good question, but I would like to and I would like to answer. See, cybersecurity as a whole is taken care of by each individuals in the world, from organizations to the user. Okay, if the user is not that much of that good, or he's not that much having that idea, then the organization is helping them and telling them these are the things you should follow it. Now, if the cryptocurrency is untraceable, so is it a threat to a cybersecurity? No, it's not at all threat to a cybersecurity. I would say it's not threat to cybersecurity until and unless that user doesn't do any foolish thing. Now, the very weak link that is, or the very weak work that is done by the users is, if anyone say that no, 50% of it, like 50% or 50 rupees is there, join us and you'll be getting 50 rupees for what do you say. Recently there was something about coin DCX and all those things. So very first thing, you should have the idea about how coin DCX is working. So Google it, you'll get to know the idea, because there are a lot of people who are there who will be helping you out in this thing. But in reality, you won't get to the point that is it a threat to cyber. It's not at all a threat to cybersecurity. It is going to threat. It will become the biggest threat to the banks that are available. Okay, and their procedures. I would say that.
So the next question is: do you think beginners should go for cybersecurity certifications like CompTIA Plus, EJPT, or CEH? Perhaps are they worth it?
Okay. So when you're dealing with certifications, always have one thing in idea, and like seriously have one thing in your brain, that certifications has only one thing to do, and that is to make your resume strengthened up. That's it. Nothing much. That is not going to demonstrate your knowledge. Okay. If you have that knowledge, for example, I'm not having any OSCP certification, okay, but still there were some companies, they were dealing with things. I told them that I have this very basic one, I have that very CEH one, but I do know about how offensive security is working. So if you are dealing with any organization that you should start with, or you're just a beginner for cybersecurity certifications, I would say don't go for any certifications, okay? And if you're that much of that hesitant, no, I should go for that thing, and I should have this certification, go for CompTIA one, because it's very beginner and it's very entry level, okay, in the field. Yeah, so go for that. I won't say to go for EJPT. Let me tell you one thing. I will never suggest anyone to go for EJPT directly. I would say learn about the atmosphere first, then go for offensive security.
Okay, the next question is AI being used in threat intelligence to be accurate about cyber attacks?
Indeed, it is being used. It is like, for example, see, artificial intelligence is right now, it's one of the key features in threat intelligence. Let's suppose if you are let's take if I have to take any example, like let's take example of Honeywell only. Okay, there are a lot of automation, there are a lot of those things, but and there is a separate AI division that is working and merging with the cybersecurity area to strengthen as much as possible like the cybersecurity domain, so that the clients that are working with us is going to help out the complete what do you say complete inform complete what do you say complete organization to deal in threat intelligence, whether it's insiders or whether it's outsiders. But the very first thing is to train the people who are working in infosec. That's going to help you out more.
So the next question is, what was your first bug and bounty?
That was quite back days because right now currently I'm not doing those things, but still the first bug that I found out was like a year and a half before. Yeah, 1.5 years before that. Was a very that was IDOR, by the way. It was an IDOR, and then before that I found an email verification, some stuff. I didn't remember that thing. Although it was a exploitation of DMARC records, but I got quite huge bounty because the report was written in a good way, and it was quite good. But that was not that much payable. And but the best fund which was paid was in IDOR, which was the second one, which was quite good. And I don't want to disclose the amount what I got because let's face it, it's going to demotivate any other person who's listening. So I don't want to say it.
It's all right. It's all right. Okay. The next question is, what is the roadmap from beginner to a bug bounty hunter?
See, if you're dealing in bug bounties, uh, and the very first thing what you should know is the idea of reconnaissance. Okay, so when you're dealing with the roadmap for beginner part, the bug bounty one, very first thing is you should strengthen your reconnaissance. That's what my approach is. Different people have different approach. There are people who will be dealing with automated tools and techniques. You can go through that. It's available on YouTube directly. There are people just like Nahamsec. There are people like DoggyG. There are people like Jason Addicts. There are a lot of people who have proposed it. My way is simple. It's like finding the target, finding as much as assets about that target as much as possible, and to let the people, let the organization know that these are the things that I found out, I have fuzzed it, and then tell them that I have abused the function in the very different way. So that's how I deal with it. There are a lot of things that I deal with bug bounties. I recently released that application security engineer roadmap also. Anyone can check it out on Twitter. It's available.
Okay. The next question is sort of a continuation of the previous one. How and where to start bug bounty? With what platform?
That's a good question because it's being crowded. I know that. So, if you're dealing in bug bounties, I would suggest start to deal with openbugbounty.org because it's completely non-profit. It has nothing to do with as a corporate or anything like that. You can just go to the openbugbounty.org, check it out because there are very less amount of vulnerabilities that you have to find out. You don't have to find any PIIs that much big about it. You just have to find certain vulnerabilities that is going to help you out build your foundations over basic vulnerabilities such as cross-site scripting, improper access control, and all those things. You can go there, you can check it out. That is going to be the best part to start your bug bounty journey. Where to get started to learn it? I started to learn through books. I started Web Application Hackers Handbook. That made my foundation to be very much strong. Then I deal with Tangled Web, then went through from lulsec also. There was some documentation, there were some documents and pdfs by lulsec which were quite an apt people, although it was not legal, but still I read it because it was available on the Google. So you can read their documentation also. Just Google it and you'll get to know.
Okay, so the next question is, Where's there more scope, offensive or defensive security?
I would say completely that it's 50-50, and I'll tell you why. See, what happens is any organization is going to pay you huge when you're dealing with offensive as well as in defensive. But it just depends upon the situation. Like if you're dealing before any threat happens, the defensive is going to be completely huge in money. Like it'll be completely, completely filled with money. But when you are, just when you are breached by any other person, like any other outsider or insider only, when you're breached and you are hacked, then the offensive people are like defensive people are going to be screwed up, and offensive people are going to be pushed up to that much level of extent that they'll be pushed to like do whatever you want to do. Just find the loophole and just let us know so that the defense will work. So I would say work over most both of the things, building your things, for example, building your own way of doing the things, like the best one I would say, if you're dealing in offensive security, learn. Every day is learning area. Defensive, you'll be learning, you'll be updating yourself, I would say, and you'll be learning about new attack vectors. You'll be learning about the setups, new things, and that's going to be huge. But I would say in a developing country like India, if you want to go for government jobs and all those things, just take the defensive part. That's going to be helping you out more as compared to offensive. If you're working in private organization, go for offensive as compared to defensive.
Okay, so this is the last question for today. What's the best technique for building a great recon?
Practice. I won't say anything else. Practice. Because see what happens is when you are just like, for example, I started like I the very first video of like application pen testing and all those things. The very first video I saw was of JSON addicts, and I was able to get to know that yeah, these are the things that how the things are working, and how what are the things that should be found out, and what are the things that you shouldn't concentrate on. So that gave me one third of what I find generally. Then I move towards good more security researchers. So building recon is not a day thing. Okay, there are many people who will say that you just follow these things and you'll get a flaw and in bug bounties, because which is a trial and error thing that happens. If you're good with it and you are consistent with it, then it's a everyday thing. But if you're not that much consistent, then it's quite a once in a blue moon thing. But still, so building recon takes quite a time, and it takes quite huge time for that. So everyone should have their own recon method, and everyone has their own recon method. It's so you just build it and start practicing as much as possible.
Okay, so thank you for answering the questions, and thank you very much for an amazing presentation. Everyone truly enjoyed that presentation. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much for organizing a great event. I would literally say that Damcon was quite huge, and indeed it is going to be one of the best events I have ever talked about. So you're doing a great job. So keep doing the great job.
Thank you so much for your kind words. So that brings us to the end of day one of Damncon 2021. We would like to thank the guests for sharing their knowledge with us today, and everyone for attending. We have been your hosts, Divyansh and Ananya, and we'll see you around.
The Bug Crowd platform is the fastest way to access diverse security skills that continuously add value to your organization. First, we'll connect you with solutions that add the most value, like bug bounty, penetration testing, attack surface management, and vulnerability disclosure programs. When you're ready, we'll begin plugging your team into our on-demand cybersecurity workforce. Don't worry, our trust and triage engine will always vet expertise and validate reports, saving you valuable time. With standardized workflows repeatable as you scale, your team can hit the ground running. The platform will help build incentivization frameworks that optimize submissions, while also calibrating and retesting to deliver resilient security outcomes, all while managing the expertise needed for end-to-end execution. Finally, the customer console keeps you in the driver's seat, providing you everything you need to be successful, empowering you to fix faster with integrations that roll directly into your SDLC.